Let's start with today's session. The prayers on the screen. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayyam Dadati Swapadam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Saha Gana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Gopi राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान मिथांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विशाखानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So, welcome everyone to IBC Siksha. We are continuing with Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. Today we will continue from where we had left, that is text number 8 and 12. So, before that, I will ask you one question. So, there is a dog, there is a elephant, there is a man, a woman, ant, lizard, whale, tree. Okay, how many are these? 8 of them. So 8 entities. Can you tell me how many living entities and how many super soul? How many living entities are there? These are the bodies. 8 bodies are there in which there is living entity and super soul. So how many living entities are there? How many souls are there in these 8 entities? Anyone? You can unmute and speak. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hare Krishna, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm not getting any response. Are you speaking?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry, I actually got a call, so please, can you
Oh,
please spare me for 2 minutes?
okay. So you can hear me now. So okay, I'll
Yeah, I
ask
can
this
hear you.
later on.
Everybody can hear you.
So let's start with our session today. Would someone like to read or it's okay? Okay. Would you like to read? I cannot hear you.
Should I
Sorry.
start, Prabhuji?
Huh? Can you hear?
Should I start, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Can you read?
Should I start?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Start reading.
Humanity, pricelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of the sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of the birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, with wife, home, and the rest, even mindedness, pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and
Unalloyed.
unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring. Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
aspiring.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go.
Okay. Aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be ignorance.
Yes. So Arjuna asked this question, na, ki what is knowledge? And you can see from Krishna's answer that he doesn't mention anything about physics, chemistry, mathematics, um, what biology, zoology, finance. He's not mentioning anything of that sort. What is he mentioning is uh, keep yourself muted, please. Yeah. So he is mentioning the qualities uh, or say the knowledge, hmm, by which one can spiritually advance. And even this some of these uh, will help us in material advancement also. Okay. So first thing he says is there is a need of humility. So in this purport, right, there is a it's a very big purport. So we will use the help of a table. You can see this table, right? So how many points he says is knowledge? 20 points. Okay. So humility means what? Not to be anxious, to have satisfaction of being honored by others. That means that we should not be so, demanding that give me honor. Honor means respect, recognition. So what do you think? Is this a quality that we should have or not have, or there is some problem in having this quality? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Are you okay with this? Not to be anxious for to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Let's say if you are a parent, and children they don't honor you, then Krishna is saying you should be humble. Don't be anxious. It's okay. Do you think is this what he's saying? Anyone? I'm not able to hear anyone. So you can just unmute and speak. Unmute yourself and speak. Don't raise.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah. So
We should not, Krishna like to say, we should not worry about the man upman and other things, and we should do our work and not to appreciate by others. They should not be in our heart.
okay, but my question to you is: suppose someone there is a parent, and the children are not honoring him, they are not giving him respect. Suppose that person is a teacher. Suppose that person is a policeman, and they don't get honor. If he's a chief minister, then what should they do? Should they be humble or what?
They should be humble.
Then if they are humble, then how will they teach? We have to teach children, right, that you have to respect.
But they should be humble by heart. But
Yeah, go
Don't
ahead. Yeah. But they should be?
humble by heart, but they should do their work, but they should be humble by heart.
So what they should do? What should a parent do if the children are not listening to them? What should a teacher do in the class if the children are not listening, honoring the teacher?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Okay. Then how will the students learn then? Every time, every class, you just forgive. The teacher teaches something and the children are not interested, you forgive. You go to the next class. Is that what teaching all about? How can you guarantee that what you taught the
Prabhuji,
students will?
Prabhuji, side by side, both the things should go. Rules and regulations for the children should be there, but they should be humble by heart, not from internally. They should not anger.
So yeah. So yeah. Anyone?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So here, like your example is like a teacher or a parents, if they are
Ah,
not getting on being honored, or if the teacher is teaching and the students are not listening,
right.
there are two things. What does it mean? That don't have to be anxious to have satisfaction of being honored by others. So
Ah,
these others and the student or the children, these are the two different things. If the students are not listening to us, listening to a teacher, or is not following, then we have to punish him. We have to punish him, and we have to punish our children also at times. So that is another thing. And second thing, what is written here is that to be satisfied of being honored by others. That
hmm.
means that we should not think of getting the honor all the time. We should, even if we are getting honored, we should accept that by humility.
Okay. Okay. Good point. So when it is
And
said,
we should not be
hmm,
proud of that. That
okay.
okay, I'm getting honored all the time.
Yeah.
We should not be proud of that.
So
We should be
so
humble.
when Krishna talks about humility, one has to keep in mind that he should not demand honor. Humility
Right.
means one should not demand honor, but rather one should command honor. What does that mean is, but again, in this same situation, depending on the duty that one performs, right, he may have to demand also.
Right. Like teacher, example of teacher
Like
is
we took the
demanding.
example of teacher, policeman, parent,
Government.
king, right?
Right.
So they have to teach because that is their duty.
Duty.
Their duty is to discipline. Without discipline, the students won't learn. The policeman, no one will listen. The king, no one will listen. So how will he administer? So then how can he apply the principle of humility? So what it means is, if it is not his duty, and say, duty we perform in a day, but where his duty is not to be performed, at that point he need not be going around and saying, honor me, honor me, honor me. You're getting? You're getting? A teacher only in the school, only in the class can say this. Listen to me. A police, when he's on duty, can say this. A parent, to his children only he can say. To other children, can he say? No. To only his children he can say. So any other children may be there and they not be listening to this parent, but he's not his. But the children are not his children. So at that point he should not be, expecting honor and all that. So where the duty is not there, there he need not be humble. Sorry, I made it wrong. Where there is no duty involved, then one should be humble. Okay? Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Yes, probably. And second thing is also, like I wanted to add over here,
Yeah.
that a policeman or a teacher, his duty is to make society disciplined, right?
Hmm.
And if he is doing it, so he is like it is his duty. But in the other hand, if the same policeman, you are like you said that he is not on duty,
Yeah.
if he's
Where
not
he is
on,
not on duty, why he should be like,
right,
if he goes to
then
a
he's
hotel
not
to eat food,
right. So
right?
if
And
he's not
sometimes
on
the
duty, then
waiter
he
will
cannot
come a
teach
little
others.
late or something, and he should not bang the table and say that I am the policeman, you need to honor me. No, it is
Right.
not like that.
24
That-
hours, 24 hours, he should not be in that mode that I am the
yeah,
policeman, you honor me.
exactly. Yes, good point. So this humility, right? We should know how to use it, like where to show this humility. In front of a pure devotee, we should always be humble. In the circle of devotees, we have to be humble. But again, if we are given the duty, say, to arrange devotees in the line, at that point we have to humbly say them, right? At that point we can use, we may use some loud noise, loud voice, but it should be with the humble mood. Okay, so one should not be overly looking, honor me. That is what is humility. So humility is a very tricky thing. Okay, humility is a very tricky thing. In front of the Lord, one has to be always be humble. Hmm? Okay, okay, but in general, this is what it means: not to be anxious for satisfaction of being honored by others. No expectation or respect. Only in the case of duty, where you have to discipline, and where there is a requirement that you need to expect respect, so that a certain function, a certain society can be in good state. That time only you have to go around and demand that respect, right? Most of the time you have to command respect. Okay, next is pridelessness. Pridelessness means not to be anxious to be famous for one's religion, and entering into a group not actually following principles and wanting to advertise as a religious mentor. So this is very easy to understand, that one may be taking pride in, being famous for one's religion. I am from so and so religion, or I am from so and so group, or I can, teach 1000 people at a time, 10,000 people. I am i am uh, I know the whole of Bhagavad Gita, 700 shlokas, or I know so many shlokas. I am a Sanskrit scholar. So all that, pride that one wants to show, that should not be there. But again, let's say if someone tells you, please tell me about yourself, then you have to tell you about yourself, right? Then you have to say, I did PhD in such thing, I work at such a company, right? I earn so much. So so there is a understanding here, that when we are asked what we are, at that point, we can tell what we are, what we have done. But when we are not asked and we are just advertising it everywhere, that is called as pride. The important word is advertise. Do you pay for this advertisement? Do you pay for advertisement? No, right? Advertisement is given to you forcefully on the television, on the mobile, right? All the advertise. Do you ask any advertisement on your mobile? Today I want advertisement for shirt or pant or this color, this company. No, right? It just comes on your mobile. Similarly, if anything is forced, we are not asked for it, then that is advertisement. So one should not advertise one's religious acumen. Okay, when there is asked, then only tell. Does it help you understand? In Ramayana, when Lord Ram had to build the bridge, so everyone was looking how to build the bridge, how to build the bridge. Then one Vanar devotee, he said that we have these two Vanars um, in our army, and they are the engineers, and they can help in building. At that point, these two Vanars, these two monkeys, they came ahead and they said, okay, we can help. They didn't went around and said, we are the engineers, we are the engineers. Like that. So pridelessness is not to be anxious to be famous for one's religion or one's acumen. Only when you are asked, then you advertise. Unnecessary advertisement, don't give. Non-violence. We have an understanding of non-violence is zero violence, right? If we are talking about non-violence, everyone thinks there is zero violence. Is that so? Does Bhagavad Gita actually teach non-violence? What is your opinion? Because there are these famous people in the past and they have said that Bhagavad Gita talks about ahimsa. Does it really talk about ahimsa? No violence, zero violence. Does it talk about zero violence? After hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, was there violence or was there no violence? Anyone? After hearing Bhagavad Gita, what happened? Was there violence or no violence? You need to tell me.
Violence and non-violence both, because if it is a violence, then it was for the satisfaction of Krishna. Because when Arjun decided to kill, Arjun took the permission from Krishna. In fact, Krishna gave permission that you have to do your duty. They're all already dead, so you just do your duty and put everything on to me. Surrender everything on to me. Surrender your karma to me, and there is no sin on.
So let's say somebody in the road tells like this: surrender unto me and do violence on my behalf.
No, so in that
why Krishna?
See, so in that case, that particular person cannot say that I am supreme personality of Godhead. So if even in the government, so suppose there is a war between two countries, the government commands that you have to do your duty and kill your enemy. Then there is no violence in that. There is no sin in that. Similarly, if the Krishna is saying the God is
yeah, good point. So does Bhagavad Gita teach about ahimsa?
No, it doesn't teach.
Okay, so the thing is, Bhagavad Gita does teach about ahimsa, but the meaning of ahimsa is not zero violence.
It is different, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that we will understand now. Ahimsa, people think, is zero violence. But this is wrong understanding. Then what is the right understanding? It is necessary violence. Okay, after hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, there was violence. There was a war who took place, and Arjuna killed. How many people did Arjuna kill? 60 lakh people. Can you imagine? In the 18 days of Mahabharat war, Arjuna killed 60 lakh people. Just one man killing 60 lakh people, So it was fully violent. So how can one say Bhagavad Gita teaches about ahimsa? Well, it doesn't teach us zero violence, it teaches necessary violence. And what is necessary violence? What is the definition of necessary violence? It is to be violent to protect the weak from evil. This is what is called as necessary violence. I spell it wrong. Okay. Do you understand now? One needs to be violent to protect the weak from the evil. Just like, a policeman, if he has to save someone, then should he do ahimsa? Should he do zero violence? No, he has to do necessary violence. If a policeman sees that someone is getting attacked and the policeman has to now retaliate, so he will also pull out his gun and attack that person who is attacking. So at that point it is necessary violence, right? If that necessary violence is not there, then you can't protect only. Do you agree this point? So therefore, Ahimsa actually means necessary violence, that is, to be violent to protect the weak from the evil. And Prabhupada gives more definitions to it. Not to put others into distress. Now, what does this mean? Put others into distress? Violence means to put others into distress. Okay. Distress means what? Distress means let's say uninvited stress, or uninvited violence in this case. So it is uninvited. So when others are not to be blamed and you put violence on them, then it is a bad thing. So non-violence is that you don't put others into distress. You only put those into distress which are to be put into distress, which are necessary to be put into distress. Okay, only the evil forces. But those which are not evil forces, you don't put into distress. Now you understand? So non-violence means not to put others into distress. Put only those into distress who are evil in nature. So put only evil into distress. This is another definition of non-violence. Put only evil into distress and not the innocent. So those who are innocent, you don't put them into distress. This is what it means. Not to put others into distress means not to put innocent people into distress. You put only those who are responsible for that evil into distress. Then that violence is actually non-violence. Then one has not committed any violence, or one has committed the right violence, the necessary violence. Unless one elevates one to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. Now, this is a interesting definition that Prabhupada gives. That if we are only thinking about our own spiritual life and we are not thinking of somebody else's spiritual life, then we are practicing violence. Why like that? Because spiritual life means to relieve from distress, right? From the cycle of birth and death. And we are only taking care of ourselves. Let me, only I am focused on myself. I won't give it to others. So that point we are making other people, we are letting the distress of the other people continue. So that is also violence. What does that mean is, suppose you see somebody in distress, and you neglect that person, then you are letting that distress to increase, right? So that is also violence. It's a different kind of violence, where you may not do anything, but by not doing only you are committing violence. Does that make sense, or it's confusing? So how to be non-violent? Try your best to distribute real knowledge, real spiritual knowledge. When we give, we reduce the distress in the people, and by doing that we are non-violent. Okay. Fourth, tolerance. To practice to bear insult and dishonors from others, like Prahlad Maharaj. He was insulted, he was dishonored, he was tried to be killed, but he was completely tolerant. He didn't protest only, he didn't run away also from his father. He again came back to his father. Now, if you are in such situation like Prahlad Maharaj, will you be tolerant? Let me ask you. Will you follow the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj and be as tolerant as he is? Where someone may try to kill you also, will insult, dishonor. Will you follow this principle of Prahlad Maharaj? Tell me. Any thoughts? Again, think the same way, like in humility. Think the same way.
That's right. That's right, Prabhu.
What?
Like what I feel is like we have to be tolerant of anything. So
Okay, there are
being
two things. I will make it easy. First thing is, if we see that the insult and dishonor is on others, other than us. So, meaning if we see some insult and dishonor happening on devotees or happening on someone else, innocent people, then we should not be tolerant. We should protest. We should try to save that situation. Okay? That is one thing. Now, when the thing happens on us, let's say the insult, dishonor, terrible situation happens on us, then we should respond by our own maturity. This is very important. We respond by our own maturity.
right.
See, Prahlad Maharaj, he was pure devotee. He was completely dependent on the Lord. Okay, so he didn't care whether insult, dishonor came on him or not. Okay, in our case, if we are given a chance, then we should save our life. Okay, because we are not on the same level of Prahlad Maharaj. But again, then why Prabhupada gave that example, Prahlad Maharaj? Because he is the ideal example of tolerance. So there are certain situations where we have to be like Prahlad Maharaj. Sometimes there is insult, dishonor, uh, let's say in devotee circles. Sometimes it happens like that. At that point, we should be tolerant. Okay, to keep the peace in the society. At that point, we should be tolerant. So ideal example is given so that when the situation comes on us, we can, on our own maturity and our own understanding, we can decide, okay, that is the ultimate ideal situation, whether I should be on that ideal situation or should be in the path of that ideal situation. So there is a way to understand this is, if the insult is on others, then we should not tolerate. If it is on oneself, then we can tolerate. Okay, that is one way of understanding this. When it comes on oneself, then tolerate, but when it comes on other innocent people, don't tolerate. Can you tell me um, example of Hanuman, how he tolerated? See, when the fire was lit to his tail, he tolerated that pain.
Yes, Prabhuji. He was
But he
tolerating
couldn't tolerate,
up to the fire was lit.
yeah, but he couldn't tolerate the insult to Sita.
Right.
So to punish Ravana, he burned the whole Lanka out of anger. See, when he was challenged and he was then put his tail on burn, he tolerated. But when they challenged Sita, when they said something about Sita and he saw that they are now insulting Sita and Ram, that he didn't tolerate. Then he took his burning tail and burned the whole Lanka. Okay, so like that. So next we will go simplicity. Simplicity means so straightforward that you can disclose the real truth even to an enemy without diplomacy. Children are very straightforward. Like, the parent will say to that person that I am not here. And they will go to and tell that person that Papa is saying that he's not here. They are very straightforward.
That's right.
Yeah. So are we to be that straightforward?
Then it will be a difficult situation for us in this Kali Yuga.
So So when to be straightforward, when not to be straightforward.
Not to be straightforward. Yeah.
See, this is what we need to understand. When to be straightforward, when not to be straightforward, when to be tolerant, how much to be tolerant, how much to be violent, how much not to be violent, how much to be expecting pride, how much not to show that pride, how much to be humble, and how much not to be humble. These are the things that we need to understand. And the best way to understand is like we are talking about simplicity. So we have to be straightforward in front of our seniors, senior devotees, guru. We have to be straightforward. We have to be without diplomacy in our dealing with devotees. But then we have to be diplomatic in dealing with non devotees. So it is like this: without diplomacy with devotees, with sincere people, with guru, parents, but with diplomacy with non devotees. Those who are non devotees, there we need not be straightforward, right? With cunning people, with materialistic people. Can you tell me why? Why I am saying that you should not be simple in front of these people? Like you said, it will be difficult to live in Kalyuga. Why? Because they will take advantage of you. ये बहुत सीधा साधा आदमी है, इसको उल्लू बनाएंगे. Are you getting? So to these people who are themselves not सीधा साधा,
Right.
who are themselves not simple, you don't be simple. You have to act with diplomacy. But devotees, guru, they are very sincere people. At that point, you don't show diplomacy. You be straightforward. You tell the truth, even if it is bad to you, or even if it is you're telling bad about yourself. But with non-devotees, cunning people, you need not be diplomatic. And in the Shastras, you will find both the examples. And in the Shastra, you will find that there will be some devotee who will be straightforward with devotees and who will be straightforward with non-devotees also. You see? But these are ideal people. When it comes to ourselves, we should look for um, we should see we should do it on our maturity. How much is our maturity, our dependency, our understanding, that way. So I will tell you one nice story. So we have uh, we have Acharya's name as Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Have you heard this name?
Yes, they were brothers.
Yeah. And these are our acharyas who have
Very good
written
family.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and who have written so many Gaudiya Vaishnava literature. So they were ministers in Nizam, um, in Nizam of Bengal. In that time. I'm talking about 500 years ago. So what happened is, because they became devotees, right? They didn't want it to continue as ministers. So they started neglecting that duty. Then one day Nizam came and he found that they are actually not sick. So they told lies, we are sick. So therefore we are not doing any duty. But one day Nizam himself came and he saw that Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami is not sick. They are reading Bhagavatam. They are dancing with devotees. What is happening? So he imprisoned them. He put them into jail. Now they had to they they had to come out of the jail. So what they did was they used diplomacy. At that point, they used diplomacy. See, these are our acharyas, great acharyas. But when the movement was in danger, when their own life was in danger, when their own goal was in danger, at that point they used diplomacy in their service towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what they did was they bribed the jailer, that they bribed the Muslim jailer with some money, with some good words, and they ran off. And they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag, I think. And then they went to Vrindavan. So they used diplomacy. Why? Because in that situation it was required. Otherwise, they cannot practice Krishna consciousness. So this is the way we have to decide. You're getting? So do you understand this first 6 points? They may be ideals to follow this, but then there are situations where we don't have to follow that. We have to follow the opposite of that. And I told you about all those situations, right? Does that help in understanding? Yes or no? Yes? Do you understand these points? Sorry. Okay. Okay, you let me know if you have any questions. We'll move ahead because this topic is very big. There are 20 points. Now, next is accepting a spiritual master. See, this is a part of knowledge where if we want to learn anything spiritual or material, we have to accept a teacher. And how to approach a teacher? With humility. Offer all our services. Tat vidhi prani pratena pariprashnena sevaya. Don't be challenging to the teacher. Today, in the school, if a student is challenging to the teacher, everyone thinks he's an intelligent student. But according to Bhagavad Gita, that is not the case. According to Vedic culture, you have to be respectful to the teacher. And I will show you one example from Bhagavad Gita itself. In the start of Bhagavad Gita, if you have read the 4th chapter, Krishna says, I gave this knowledge to Sun God. And Sun God gave it to his son, and his son gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, his son. Now, one may question, how can Krishna give this knowledge to Sun God? Because Sun God, he is there from millions of years. And Krishna just came now, 5,000 years ago. So now this doubt is natural, right? Yeah, how can you talk to Sun God like this and give him that knowledge? Sun God is already knowledgeable. Agreed? Now the way Arjuna asked this question is very interesting. He says, the Sun God Vyavasvan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? So the way he has put the question is so nice. He says, how am I to understand? He doesn't challenge Krishna. He doesn't say, Krishna, you're faking, He is senior birth to you. How can you say that? See, technically what Krishna is saying like this, he's saying, I gave this knowledge to Sun God. See, technically what it means is someone, let's say I am, me. I am saying that I taught law to Gandhi. Okay? What I'm saying is I taught law to Gandhi. I taught law to Nehru. Are you going to accept this statement of mine? Are you going to accept that statement of mine?
No.
Why? You know, right? That I just took birth some few years ago, few decades ago. And while Gandhi and all, they took birth years 80, 90 years ago. So it is not possible. And so same situation Arjuna was. Krishna is saying, I gave this knowledge to Sun God. So Arjuna can say, no, I don't accept this. You are faking Krishna. But the way to ask this is, how am I to understand? He was asking very humbly. He didn't challenge Krishna. So within Bhagavad Gita, we see this non-challenging attitude to understand and to give this knowledge. To receive the knowledge from the spiritual master. In the 2nd chapter, Arjuna says, Karpanya dosha upahat svabhava prachami tvam samud त्वाम धर्म समूढ़ चेता यश्रय स्यान निश्चितम ब्रूहितन में शिष्यस्य हम साधि माम त्वाम प्रपन्नम. What is Arjuna telling? Shishyasте aham. I will become your student. So once he says I will become your student, he is not in the mood of challenging the teacher now. And that's why his words are like that in the 4th chapter, where he says, how am I to understand? So like this. So when we accept a spiritual master, we should be humble. At that point, we should not be challenging. At that point, we should not use diplomacy. Okay. And when the spiritual master bestows his blessing, and we should do service. The most important thing is to do some practical service to the spiritual master. In the Vedic times, what was the service that the students used to do to their spiritual master? Do you know about it? Do you know about any? Can you remember from the story of Sudama and Krishna what service they did to their spiritual master?
Yeah, so whatever was required at that time in the ashram, so they were doing like Sudama and Krishna. They went to the forest to collect the the bundle of
Firewood. Firewood.
firewood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was required for the
even
yajna.
though the
Yes.
guru knows that Krishna is not simple. Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead, but still Guru uh, commanded. He told Krishna, Sudama, and Guru Mata. Then on uh, Guru Mata's
Yeah.
permission, they went to the forest to collect the firewood.
Yeah. At that point, Krishna didn't say, "Hey, I am the supreme Lord. Why are you telling me?"
Right.
Huh? Okay, I with some magic I will create the wood. No, Krishna actually walked in the forest and with his
Actually
own
went. Yes,
hands. Yes. So that is humility.
that is
But Krishna didn't show this humility in front of Jarasan. He didn't show this
right.
humility in front of Kalyavan. He didn't show this humility in Kamsa. He didn't say, Kamsa, you're my uncle. You can beat me how many times you want.
Right.
No, he took Kamsa, killed him. Why? Because Kamsa was a cruel person. So, to protect the weak from the evil, one has to be violent. And where there are sincere people, where there are innocent people, that time you don't show violence. So, like that. Okay. So let's move forward. So when the spiritual master gives his blessings, then we have this then we realize this knowledge.
Right.
Then we realize this knowledge. Okay. So this is the understanding. See, even in our school days, na, if we serve our teachers, na, there are various levels of serving. One is menial service, and another one is the most important one is to be attentive in the class. That is the minimum service that we can give to the teacher. That is to be attentive in the class. Whatever the teacher is saying, we are keeping our ears open and listening. That is also a service. And with that also we get his blessings and we understand a subject. So if you remember your school days, wherever you were attentive in the class, that subject you did well. And wherever you were not attentive, you were distracted, you didn't do well in that subject. So the transmission of knowledge from teacher to student happens because of this attentiveness, because of serving the spiritual master in menial services, in attentive listening in some menial services. Okay. So that is the key. Even in material knowledge, the same rule applies. Cleanliness is two types of cleanliness. One is external, one is internal. External we know by bathing, because so many pores are there, sweat comes, bad smell comes, we have
Right.
to clean. But how to do internal cleaning?
Chanting.
Yeah, it is said chanting. But one may say, internal, what is the problem internal? What are the bad things internal there? So internal bad things are anger, lust, and greed.
All the Shadripu.
Yeah, anger, lust, greed. These are the main ones. So to clean them, we have to chant the holy name. And that time the holy name will act like a soap and it will clean up all these bad desires in us. Okay. Then steadiness. Steadiness means determined to make progress in spiritual life. So this quality is needed. If one is not steady, right, then one won't make progress. What will happen is he may give it up, or he may delay it, he may procrastinate it. But a steady person will keep trying. Even if there is failure, he will try again. So that is the meaning of steadiness. So even in our spiritual life, we should be steady. Self control. Self control means if there are some unfavorable situations, we are able to reject them. That is a self control thing. If there are some unfavorable situations, like like say, um, like someone comes to you and he's your friend and he comes to you and he says, I started this scheme to make money. And then when you understand the scheme, you come to know it is an illegal scheme. You are making, what is that called? Pyramid scheme. Where you are cheating people and you are earning money. And then your friend is saying, we will do that and quickly will become rich. Then to have the power to reject our friend, to reject that unfavorable situation, that is called as self-control. You understand? That is called as self-control. In Mahabharata, there is a story where Urvashi, a very beautiful Apsara, came in front of Arjuna. And she said, Arjuna, you are here. I like you. I want to enjoy with you. You also come with me. But Arjuna was self-control. He closed his eyes and he said, no, you are like a mother to me. My forefathers have enjoyed you. So you are like a mother to me. I won't even look at you. So that is self-control. So renunciation of sense objects. Renunciation of sense object means not to cater to unnecessary demands. Cater to demands only to keep only to keep body fit for devotional service. How to control? Engage by systematic regulation, especially chanting Hare Krishna and Prasadam. So a renunciation of sense objects. Sometimes people think, okay, I will explain this. See, there is senses. Can you tell me senses? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, right? What is the sense object of eyes? Beautiful things. Beauty. What is ears? Nice music. This is sense object. Like this is what ears they like to hear. What is nose? Good smell. Beautiful smell. What is tongue? Sweet, good food. Right? Yes or no? So these are the senses: eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and these are the sense objects: beautiful things, nice music, good smell, sweet, good food. Now, what does it mean, renunciation of sense objects? Renunciation of sense object means to give up all these things. Should I give up good food? Should I give up good meal, smell? Should I give up good music? Should I not see beautiful things? If a beautiful flower is given to me, I will throw it away. I don't want to see, because Bhagavad Gita says renunciation of sense objects. If there is some good music going on, I don't want to hear, because I have to give up the sense object. If someone gives you gulab jamun to eat, you will say, I don't want it. I have to renounce the sense object. Is that the understanding? What is the understanding? So the understanding is we have to do it in a systematic regulation. So whatever beautiful we see, it should be under regulation. If we want to eat good food, it should be prasadam. And within prasadam also, we can't keep eating sweet. Why? Even if you eat sweet prasadam every day, you can still get diabetes. Agreed? You can still get diabetes. Your cholesterol can still increase. You cannot say I am eating prasadam. No, that also should be regulated. So in a whole plate, how much should be the halwa? How much should be gulab jamun? Can you tell me? If in a whole plate, you have to take sabji, rice, dal, and you have to take gulab jamuns. How much quantity of gulab jamun are you going to take? Just one or two, right? Not 20 or
Yes.
something.
As many as we can eat.
Well, that is also problematic.
Right.
As many. So we have to eat in regulation. We should know what is to be eaten most: the vegetables, the grains, the milk, and what is to be eaten least. It is not to be given up. Like sweet is not to be given up, but it is not to be consumed more also. So it should be regulated. Okay. So the main point is systematic regulation. Hmm? Um, Yukta ahara viharasya. Yukta bodha sapnasu. I think this is there in Bhagavad Gita. Yukta ahara viharasya.
Sixth chapter.
Yeah. So it should be regulated. Okay. And if you want to hear nice music, chant Hare Krishna, listen to Hare Krishna music. Any other music will deviate you. Bollywood music will deviate you. Okay. Absence of false ego. Let's see if we can finish this. Absence of false ego. Meaning, I'm not this body. False ego is I'm thinking I'm this body. And real ego is I'm servant of Krishna. So to keep in our mind that I'm servant of Krishna and not this body is the absence of false ego. We should always remember this, that I'm servant of Krishna. I'm not the external body. Then perception of evil of birth, death, disease, old age. Now we are in the COVID times, right? And it is very clearly seen death, disease, old age, birth, right? COVID has killed many people, right?
Right.
Your neighbors, far away relatives, one or the other story is always going on. So we should be aware of such things, that okay, death is there and it can happen to me also. So Yudhishthir was asked this question, what is the greatest wonder? He said, everyone is seeing, a person sees so many people dying, but within his heart he thinks, this thing won't happen to me. So why this perception of death should be there? Because it will make us serious in spiritual life. Getting? See, those people who are very rich now, you will see them that they don't have this perception of death. They say, whatever happens, happens. Let me enjoy now. But a devotee, he will know that death will come one day. So let me advance in spiritual life.
Sorry.
Yeah, let me advance in spiritual life. Okay, detachment. Detachment means to be ready to sacrifice everything from for Krishna. See, that is detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you give up everything. No, you are ready to give, your part to Krishna. That is what it means. You are not attached to that fruit. Like when Krishna entered Mathura and he asked for some clothes from the dhobi, he was very attached. He said, this is Kamsa's clothes, you cannot have it, I cannot give you. Then Krishna killed him. He took the clothes. Then when he went to the florist gave garlands to Krishna, and Krishna blessed him that for eternity you will be my devotee. Now 14 point, no entanglement, wife and children. Now the word used is entanglement. What does entanglement means? We can use Google and we'll see, entanglement. Entangle. If I use the word, if I just put, see, this is called entanglement. This boy is entangled in the wires, right? This picture is nice. This is called entanglement. So entanglement means what? You are not able to free out of that. Similarly, wife and children, if they are not letting you do spiritual life, because you're too much entangled with them, means you're too much attached to them, then that thing should be given up. So with wife and children, one should give affection to them, but not attachment to wife and children. So this is a very important point. One should give affection to wife and children, but not attachment or entanglement towards them. See, this is what it actually means. See, to wife and children, to wife we have lawfully married, or to husband we have lawfully married. We have children, we have to take care of them, and they have various needs: physical needs, emotional needs, material needs, bodily needs. We have to provide all that. Spiritual needs, we have to provide that. So we have to give them affection. We cannot go and read in Bhagavad Gita, it said no entanglement. Well, no entanglement means You have to give affection, but you don't have to be attached. Okay, so I hope this makes clear that
Yeah,
entanglement
so
and
that is when it becomes karma yoga. So when there is no attachment, that becomes karma yoga. So whatever affection that is natural, right?
yeah,
Wife or
yes,
children, that is
yes,
natural.
yes.
So that will come naturally. But that does not mean as a devotee we should not be attached to that. If we are
See,
not
this
attached, it
attachment.
becomes yoga.
See, when we say we are attached to our wife and children, right? We will find it difficult to become attached to Krishna,
Right, right.
right?
Yeah.
That is the
Some
problem with
people
attachment.
some people are very attached to the dog, sorry,
Yeah.
pet.
So whatever the so you can give affection to the dog. How can you give affection to the dog? Can you tell me?
Yeah, we can give affection to the dog, like we can take care of him, we can give
Yeah,
proper food.
we can give him food. We
Right,
can
we
give
can
him
give food.
prasadam food, but
Right.
we should not take him like oh my dear friend and all that.
We should not take him like he is the only one in my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, good point. Okay, so then we should have even mindedness. Even mindedness means sometimes we'll have gain, we will have loss, we'll have some distress, we'll have some happiness, we'll have some sadness. In all the situations we are trying to keep ourselves equilibrium. Equilibrium means we are not getting carried away. If there is loss or gain, when there is a loss we are not getting carried away with it, because there is so much loss now I will neglect Krishna. No, you have to come back. And because there is too much of gain, now I will go on enjoying, forget about spiritual life. That also should not happen. So there should be equilibrium, balance,
So it is like
unalloyed.
dual tolerance.
Sorry.
This is like dual tolerance. That means that we should be
Yeah,
tolerant in both the cases,
yeah, in both the cases.
happiness or unhappiness. Like there is a shloka, no, in second chapter, 14th.
Yeah, yeah.
Matra sarsastu kaunteya sitosna
Sitosna
sama
sukha
sukha
dukkha.
dukkha.
Yes, good point. Good point.
Thank
So,
you.
how to be even mindedness? There are two things to it. First thing is by knowledge of soul, Paramatma, and temporariness of this world, and devotional service. So, when we have knowledge of all these things, we can become even mindedness. There is one more thing that can make us even mindedness. When we do practical devotional service, like chanting, serving spiritual master, um, donating to Krishna's causes, all these things, right? When we are serving spiritual master, devotees, they make us even mindedness. They help us gain that even mindedness. So we should know how to gain it. First is through knowledge, second is through practical service. Okay, so it should not be just knowledge that we will become even minded. It should come through practical service also. Then 16th is unalloyed devotion, ananya bhakti. So this is the bhakti process, ananya bhakti, that we do devotional service to the Lord.
Navdha bhakti.
Yeah, now the bhakti devotional service starting with chanting. And
Hmm.
then 17 is aspiring. Question? Any question?
No, no, no
Okay,
questions.
okay. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. So solitary place means doesn't mean jungle or forest. It means places where the materialistic people are not there. The devotees are there. A temple can become a solitary place, but a hotel may not. A hotel is not a solitary place like that.
Right.
Detachment from general mass. General mass means materialistic people, you associate with them only for the business, because we have to do some business with everybody, right? So only for that business you say hi and hello, And the most of the time you associate with devotees. Then accepting the importance of self-realization. Spiritual life is very important. So I am ready to give up unnecessary sporting, cinema going, social activities. Wastage is all such wastage of time. When one is able to reduce all these things, he is accepting, okay, I am becoming spiritual. Okay, this is the sign of becoming spiritual when all these things are reduced. Philosophical search for the absolute truth. We are like, right now we are reading Bhagavad Gita. We are trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. This is the quality. Otherwise, there are so many people who are learning so many things. Huh? So many philosophical types like sex life. Prabhupada says this sex life. Then there is share market and all that, all that, all that. They put so much energy into it that they will neglect Bhagavad Gita. They will neglect this philosophical search for absolute truth, and they will continuously go into it more and more. See, we have to know about certain knowledge to the extent that we can use it in our life. Okay, like let's say I took the example of share market. Now, suppose you want to do some investment, savings, and all that. So you need to know about share market, but you need to know only certain things. Not like you should go into deeper and deeper and deeper. Only if your job is there. If you work in stock exchange, then definitely you need to know deeper, deeper, deeper. Right? But when your job is not like that, then you know only that much, that by which you can invest and you can protect your future. And then the time that is saved, that you use it for Krishna consciousness. So like that, we have to keep a balance. Okay. So we went like 10 minutes beyond the time. Any question, any comment anyone has? Any question or comment?
No, Prabhuji, this is a very nice discussion about it. It is like we can use this discussion in everyday's life.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's very practical.
Okay, okay, okay. So if there are no questions, we'll continue next week from text number 13. Thank you very much. Hare